you're killing it
You
right
too.
now. And for everybody that doesn't know Ren has Allstate insurance and is also a real
Yep.
estate agent on the O'Neill team. And really today, what I wanted to do was, just kind of discuss, what we've been
Right.
seeing in the market right now. Um, I mean, you know, from what I've been able to see, like rates have been fluctuating. They
Yeah.
go up, they go
Crazy.
down. It's a little crazy. But what I found was a lot of the buyers, they're telling you, oh, I'm gonna wait, but then it
Mm-hmm.
drops a little, and then they all come back, and then it goes up, and
It's
then
like
they
a
all
light switch.
disappear again.
It's like a light switch sometimes too.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
no,
what have
very
you been
trusting.
seeing so
So
far?
what I've been seeing is I think a lot of buyers from August, September, where the rates are like going to the sevens or something like that, and they're like, oh, but just wait. They are um, now coming back, but like it's almost like not to sound rude because I know people are gonna be watching this that are I'm their agent for and we're currently working with, but it's kind of like I told you so, It's like I told you because then
Yeah.
what happens is people are earlier of 2023. Oh, we'll just wait for the rate to go down, and then what happened? It went up, and it's like now is a good time to sell if you could sell. And now is a good time to buy if you could buy. It's based on your budget at the end of the day, And you know, it, it's a lot of people are thinking they can't buy, because they're doing their own Zillow estimator. They don't get pre-approved, and I think that's what a lot of people are just falling short of. They're not listening to like me and you, for example, because I'm like the rent is going up. Rent
Hmm.
is going up. Um, it's like
Yeah, definitely.
disgusting how it is going up in New York, and it's almost outpacing what a mortgage would be. And there are some people they really think that they cannot get a mortgage. Then they got people who are like, oh, I don't have 20%. Like I don't know where everybody's getting their information from, other than their mom and dad and Uncle Joe. Because like
Who
right,
bought a house like 30
exactly. They're
years
like,
ago
yeah,
and know nothing
they're like,
about the
oh, my
market
interest
right
rate is
now?
like 3%, and my monthly is 1,500 a month, and I'm like, yeah, you got that like 25 years ago. Like, don't even don't share that information. And this is cool. A lot of people don't realize you could buy your PMI off. You could pay that whole thing off at closing. That is something a lot of people don't know, and that's why I'm happy that we're talking about this on your video. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely,
So that's what I'm
man.
saying.
So, yeah, man. I mean, I just find that a lot of the buyers right now, they're a little wary of the market. They think that the fluctuation is an indication that the market might
Right.
crash, which is obviously not. And what I tell
Yes.
everybody that it's just normalizing for the
Yes,
most
I
part. What do you
totally
think
agree
on
with
that?
that, honestly. It is definitely coming back to a standstill. You're going to see up and down because that's just how the market is. And, for people trying to time the market, you're not going to win. There's no way to time the market. And the people that say, I want to time the market, these are the same people that don't want to do the stock market. But, so it's like, you can't
Yeah,
time it, you know?
a lot of times, and a lot of times, for those people that are trying to time the market, like you said, they're the same people that are worried of the stock market. And, by the
Right,
time they get in, it's
right,
already too late,
right, right.
So there is no timing this thing. What I tell people is that,
Yes,
you got to
yes.
be in it to win it. That's the number one thing. If you're not playing, if you're not in there looking for homes, if you're not putting out offers, all these things affect everything else, and if you're not doing those
You're not getting
things, then
out.
guess what? You're not
Exactly.
getting the
It all goes
house.
back to your budget at the end of the day, Like some people are like, oh, it's 6.8%,
Yeah.
6.3%. This is crazy. I'm like, okay. Do you go to the store and be like, oh my gosh, eggs are $9. Half and half is $8. Like, or do you say, oh man, inflation went up by 8% when I look at this milk carton and this egg? No, you don't look at the percentage
Yeah.
when you look at the grocery, you look at the price. Yeah,
I got a
okay, okay,
great
yeah.
story when you're
So
done.
it's like
Keep
at the
going.
end of the day, it's perfect to go and buy if you could afford it. And I want to hear your story actually. I learned a lot from you, so.
Oh, so it's funny because you're talking about the recently how
Hmm.
eggs went up and milk is
Hmm.
going up and all these things, right? I just put an offer on a house which
Congrats.
got accepted.
Hmm.
We did the inspection. There was like a retaining
Hmm.
wall issue, but we got over it. And one of the things they were like, all right, I tell you what, we'll go at
Hmm.
this price, but you got to include the chicken coop in the backyard because
Oh, it
eggs
has a
are
chicken farm
crazy
for
right
real?
now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. And they wanted the chickens. It
Oh
was,
my
it,
god.
it was
That is
hilarious.
funny.
So, yeah, definitely. So, one of the other things I wanted to, kind of ask you and maybe just like, inform people about is home insurance and, where that would come in the buy
Yeah,
process.
so home insurance, I always tell people, professionals like yourself and lenders, when you find that house, once you get accepted offer, talk to your agent, talk to me, talk to an experienced licensed insurance agent. Don't do it online. Don't call 1-800. You do it online, you're doing it on your own. That means if you write that policy on your own and it's not correct, that liability is on you, not the insurance company or anybody. It's on the individual. If you call the 1-800 number, they're not licensed. They will say they're licensed. They're only licensed because the parent company is licensed. So they're just an employee. They're just a rep. So they didn't study like me and you, for example. We did. They didn't put in the hours, the night oil,
Mhm.
midnight oil, and all that stuff to read the book and take a
Mhm.
test. And they're not experienced. So talk to a local broker because it doesn't cost extra to work with a local agent at all on Long Island. And that's also important too.
Mhm.
Like there are agents that are like, oh yeah, I do like 5 states. And like that might not be a good case. Like for me, I can do Florida insurance, but I pass that stuff off. Um, because I don't know
Mhm.
the Florida market for insurance at all. It changed so much in the past 6 months where I'm like, I'm just gonna pass it off. And I don't even want anything from it. I just want my clients to be good. So once you get accepted offer, definitely talk to your agent because then the insurance company could work with the lender to make sure that they are putting the right home insurance monthly rate into the whole breakdown of the pre-approval. And sometimes that's a deal breaker with the GTI. You know what I'm saying? And it's better to get that before you go under contract. And honestly, for someone like me personally, I have about 10 carriers. I have to input that information 10 times, not just name and address, but literally the breakdown of the home. So you're talking about at least 80 characteristics of the home, like 2x4s, vinyl frame, brick, basement, how much basement, how much slab, all that 15 times. For me personally, this is 15 years of experience. I could get that done within a half hour, you know, with no interruption. To get a quote out, and usually my quotes are hard numbers because when you get a quote, that's really an estimation. I do what they call full application. So it's kind of like in the lending side, pre-qualification versus pre-approval. Pre-qualification just means it's just fairy numbers of what you could afford, like the Zillow review. We know that pre-approval is like, okay, this is what you could afford. They did 90% of the work on the insurance end. I do basically almost like 98% of the work on the home insurance side.
Nice. And how do you how is it determined how
Great
much your
question.
home
So
insurance will
basically,
cost?
home insurance is definitely based on location, what the house is made out of, the square footage of the house, not of the property, but of the house itself. Um, it definitely works in tune, not directly with the customer's credit. And the reason why I say not directly, you may have an 800 FICO score. That does not mean you're going to get a cheaper home insurance rate. Um, but it does there is a likelihood you might get a cheaper rate too. And this is what I'm saying is just New York related because there are some states they don't go by credit.
Hmm.
Some states they actually use your driving record, which is that's a whole different conversation on its own. But, anyways, um, and how far you're from the water. Now, Long Island is just its own thing. Honestly, there's a lot of
That was was like my
Okay, yeah,
next
Long Island
question.
is its
So
own
keep
thing.
going,
There's a
keep
lot
going.
of companies, very similar to the Carolinas and Florida and parts of Texas and California, where um, you got so insurance companies are based on the financial strength, from A plus plus to like D, I guess, right? A lot of companies that are especially paired with Progressive and Geico stopped doing business or went out of business in New York downstate, because there's too much fraud and too much claim payouts right now. So a lot of lenders are looking for A minus carriers and higher. So that's the only carriers I work with. So if I was
Mhm.
doing a quote and then you try to do a quote with Geico will put you with a company that you never heard of, and it probably would be cheaper than what I could offer. Only because I'm putting you with like a B plus carrier versus where I'm putting an A minus or higher carrier.
Mhm.
And why is that important? Because if you have a claim, you don't want to get a letter saying, "Oh, we can't pay out your claim because our company went out of business," or B, we'll pay it out, but we're not going to get the full value because your policy actually gives you depreciated value, not full replacement cost. So there is home policies out there that are just different. Like I'm an Allstate agent. So if I write your Allstate home policy, it doesn't mean your Allstate is the same as my Allstate because there's different types. So like for example, you have yeah
Different types
different
of
types of
needs,
needs. Like you
different
have a
types of
Corvette.
policies.
Now we know Chevy makes so many different types of models and trims of those certain models. That's exactly how home insurance should be looked at. Like
Uh,
you may have Allstate as home insurance, but you may have like a typical home insurance that fits that need. Like you have a Corvette, you don't have a Malibu. You know what I'm saying? Like two different animals, but it's still
mhm.
Chevy. So yeah.
Gotcha. And
Yes,
you
I
also
do.
do car
Yes, I
insurance
do.
as
Thanks for the
well.
plug, brother.
So Ren over here is just a man of many talents. So, getting back into, what it covers, just give us like a soup line of, maybe like a split level home or something, something that us Long Islanders over here, or us average Long Islanders, we'll be able to get into,
Yeah,
a cape or split level, something like that.
home insurance,
What
right?
does that cover?
Yeah, yeah. So if you get what they
Yeah,
call an
yeah.
HO3 home insurance policy, which is HO3 stands for homeowners form number three. That just means it's full replacement cost on the home. Does not mean it's full replacement cost on the personal property. That would cover basically everything except FEMA disasters, such as flood, earthquake, terrorism, and even water backup. Water backup is something you have to purchase on its own. It's like when back in the day when you bought a car, they're like, "Oh, would you like the heated seats, the backup camera?" And that would be an extra add-on. Water backup is one
Uh,
of those. But when I
okay.
say it covers anything, it's literally like if an elephant flies through your home, you're covered. Um, there's something called an HO2. You're only covered for 16 things.
Mhm.
So if something happens and it's outside of those 16 risks, then it won't be covered. But an HO3 doesn't have a
Mhm.
list of things you're covered for. It has a list of what you're not covered for. And one of the biggest things I want to highlight is insurance in general, but especially home insurance. It's not a warranty policy. It's not a wear and tear policy, and it's not a maintenance policy. So a lot of homeowners, they're like, "Oh, I'm putting a claim in. Why? Oh, I need a new roof. Why? Oh, the roof is bad. Why? What happened? Oh, just never replaced it. Been 30 years, 20 years, whatever." No,
It's more
right? It's
like
like
if
if
a tree
yeah,
falls on that roof,
right,
then
exactly.
that's when they call you.
No,
It's
or,
not
or
just
it's
for
like,
wear and
here's
tear.
the thing, like, oh, there's raccoons and raccoons have babies. It's like, no, that's not covered because that's been there. Insurance, the best way I could tell people, if it's accidental, which it usually is, and sudden, this is the key. It has to be like, oh, it just happened suddenly, on its own, act of God or whatever. So that's pretty much what an HO3 would cover because there
Fantastic.
is 11 different types of homeowners policies in New York, just like how Chevy has so many different models. Home insurance forms, there's 11 of them, and they all cover different amounts. But the HO3 is what I do most of the time, and I call that the common sense policy. Hey, if I lose all this, should I get it back? Yes. Under the HO3, with me, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, just one last thing before we wrap this up today. Going
Mm.
back to the flood insurance part. Now, do you cover flood insurance, or would you send that off to
Another vendor, right? I do
another
that
vendor?
personally in house with my agents. All my agents are underwriters as well. We are associated with FEMA, so we have two sets of flood policies. We have one with the government, which is through FEMA, through NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, and then we also have what they call private flood as well. And yeah, we do that all in house.
Nice, man. Do you want to give everybody
I know.
your
Yeah, yeah.
address
No,
or
you
number
could call.
for your
You could
spot?
call.
Yeah, go for it, man.
You could text 24/7 to 718-739-3300, or you could call 718-739-3300 Monday through Friday 9 to 5. But you could text that; it comes right to my phone. You could DM me and hit me up as well. And then also just to give a shameless plug to Gus. Gus, I've only been doing real estate for almost a year now, and honestly, Gus was one of my first senseis with this industry. So, whatever I'm sharing with you, it's because I learned it from him. So definitely reach out to Gus. You know, he's a strong family man, husband, provider, and all that stuff. But he's super knowledgeable when it comes to this. And honestly, you need someone that's experienced on the Long Island, New York market for sure, because dealing with these ranked amateurs that are just licensed because they pass the test doesn't cut it anymore in this industry. I know
Well, they're all leaving
33%
right now, so
non-renewed their license according to LIBOR. So
wow. I had a friend of my brother's who had
mhm.
joined Douglas Elliman, and he literally was killing it his first year. Did like a bunch of deals, and he went through his sphere
There
and
you
was
go.
like, "See ya,"
Wow.
and that was it.
Yes.
And you're getting a lot of that. That people during the pandemic, they were hearing, a bunch of people, "Hey, let's do this," and it's like, "Oh, let me get
Then
my
they're out.
license, make some
Or they're
money," and
like,
then they're
oh,
out.
wait, my house is on the
So
market for 20 days already? What? Oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm like, it's the norm.
that
It's
too.
30 to
There's
45
that
days
too. Yeah.
roughly. Some are seeing 60 days on the market, and you just got to be stronger with negotiating now. You actually have to have a conversation. Oh yeah, oh
Negotiating,
yeah. Like
right?
right now, me and Peter Ladenheim,
Yeah.
this is awesome. We found this 1 acre of land in Medford for this big family. We were able to get the seller to pay closing costs through a seller's concession. So that's about 19 grand right there. And we were able to
Nice.
get them an SHA 203K loan. So it's a rehab loan for first time home buyers. And so at the very mint,
Look at
yeah,
you.
right? Like
Look at you.
I'm a rookie agent. Hashtag rookie agent out here.
Nice.
So
You're
I know,
killing
dude. So
it.
these buyers, dude, all they're responsible for is
Nice.
the down payment, which is another 19 grand, and that's it. Because there's a contractor, the mortgage approved at least 75,000 to remodel the home, and that's pretty much like a brand new home at that point, for what needs to be done, you know. I can't wait to share pictures of the finished work on this, and we should close on that in like 4 weeks.
Ah, dude, I
Oh yeah,
can't wait to see
and part of that
it.
comes from you, man, because you instilled that persona and experience in me. So I'm literally still your student, and you're my brother.
I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
it, man. All right, bro. So, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm very new to all this
no, this
social
is great.
media
Thanks for.
crap.
I'm so
So,
honored to be on the first one. So I would love to be on more.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
We'll figure it out.
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys. You
Thank you
too.
so much, man. Have a great day and enjoy
Wherever I'm on the
wherever
moon.
you're
I'm
at
on the
'cause it
moon.
looks like fun.
All right, see you, brother.